Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of 4th and 4. Week 7 is here, and the NFL season is more and more underway as we speak, getting closer and closer to that midway point in the year. Much more wheeling and dealing, trades on the horizon. Players of who is going to be in this playoff are appearing. Others are becoming pretenders. And we're having more and more revealed to us each week. I'm Zach Kylan, sitting in as always to kick things off with 4th and 4. I'll bring in my cohorts here alongside me. Alongside me to my right side, I got DJ Stewart. Just below me, I got Jim Renier. And the other part of that high-low crew down at the bottom right corner is Kelsey Coyne. Gentlemen, welcome on in for week 7 here of 4th and 4. How we all doing?
Yeah, doing good. Doing better than Jim.
It was an exciting start.
Great start.
Now it's back to reality.
Like thank goodness for his favorite team allowing my island pick to work out again last week. So I appreciate
Streaks are meant to not break during the Colts and Jaguars series. They are now like 7 in a row in Indy, and they're 8 in a row down here in Jacksonville. It's odd, so it's going to go on for eternity.
Yep. And yet you guys still let me pick that island pick. I'll never understand it. Never understand.
They're a bad team. It's not smart to pick them. Even when it works out, it's not a smart pick.
Right.
I'm going to continue.
The clock is right twice a day.
You're the one that you decided to chill out in the tropical lands, and you paid off dividends. We'll talk about that later because you got plenty of pina coladas or hurricanes with you.
I've only missed 2 this year. I've only missed 2 this season, so I'm feeling pretty good about my island picks.
Could have a pina colada or get caught in the rain.
One of those was a Bears pick, so let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm fully aware. I keep that one in my back pocket quite often.
It shouldn't have been. Let's be fair though. That shouldn't have been a miss.
Well, you know what? All I gotta say with Jim's is no one said it was in Jacksonville. He knows this. It's over in the oil drum.
Mm-hmm.
Always gonna make it more interesting. Well, gentlemen, here we are. It is week 7. It is now quarter number 1. We are entering in for this week's top headlines that we've got for you out of several of the news stories that we've got today. Sometime we will see that headline thing scroll across the screen. I guarantee it.
Maybe.
It's going to happen. There it goes. I was fumbling my whistle. I couldn't get it.
The guys in the back office. The guys in the back office are taking vacation already.
Production team, come on, man. Let's get this going. We already started rolling the tape. Anyway, let's go here. This week's top headlines, as always, we give you the top stories from around the league leading into week 7. And kind of the big talk of the town is, well, trade deadline is getting closer and closer. So we are seeing and or debating on a lot more of the potential trades, or talking about the ones that have happened so far. Actually, before Thursday Night Football, we had one, Robbie Anderson from the Carolina Panthers. For those that you might know, they're kind of on a selling spree right now. It's a garage sale over in Charlotte, and Robbie Anderson went over. He was let go to the Arizona Cardinals after having a bit of a spat on the sidelines the week prior. So he's gone. And then we got a big bombshell. Christian McCaffrey, CMC himself, he's heading out of town. The shopping spree continues for teams. San Francisco is investing in the running back, the All-Pro himself. However, I think people are questioning, A, was it worth the price? And B, guys, will he be able to stay healthy enough to be as impactful as they hope to be in the Bay?
I'm going to go ahead and start this one. And then, first of all, the Robbie Anderson, I got to start with Robbie Anderson. And that's,
sure, I would love to hear that.
This is just shy of Antonio Brown dancing on his way off the sidelines last season. He got in the middle of a game. He got into a fight with his coaching staff. Like same concept, except for it was like really dramatic. It was actually like a legitimate, like he was not happy. He did not want to be there. They asked him to leave, and as he's walking off, he's like, "Fine, then trade me." And then, well, he got traded. Lucky him to the Cardinals. Like, how lucky can you get to go from Baker Mayfield to a guy that the only issue you have is there a Call of Duty event happening this weekend?
Yes.
And if if he could play on Thursday every weekend, we'd see a fantastic Kyler Murray every weekend. Anyways, but like you can go into a better situation if you're Robbie Anderson. Lucky him. And then CMC. Basically, the only thing I have to say about this is always injured running back. Team that loses every running back to injury. What is going to happen? Like I'm confused as to whether that training staff can keep him healthy. But he does return to where he played college football at, right outside Palo Alto. So obviously now in San Francisco. But yeah, we'll have to see. He did change his number as well. It's now CMC 23, so it rhymes a little bit better. It's no longer CMC 22. So yeah, we'll give him credit for that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with this. I just off injured running back team that can't keep running backs healthy. Very terrifying situation to start with.
I will say what's kind of interesting to look at it is this was purely a Kyle Shanahan bust a nut move at this point as well. Too. You got CMC who could play from running back to a slot receiver to outside wide. You have Debo who could play outside slot and running back. Kyle Juszczyk who could play fullback and tight end. George Kittle who could play full tight end slot receiver. Like this is just going to be him randomly plugging and playing people and having fun as well too. He's just going to close his eyes and throw people's names at a dartboard. Like that's where you're lining up, and it's going to work. Even with Jimmy Garoppolo's going to throw his 5-yard checkdowns, but you have 5 guys now that'll take that 50 yards more often than most. So I think it's just to appease Kyle Shanahan, and let him have a little bit of fun. It feels like, and then next year when you throw in Trey Lance, if he's healthy with that mobile quarterback threat, I think they're just goofing around at this point because you have no picks for 2 years. I think this is just them basically having fun playing Madden in real life. But if he stays healthy, that makes him very, very dangerous because we saw what Elijah Mitchell and Jeff Wilson were able to do in that backfield. Got to imagine CMC running behind Trent Williams when he gets healthy down the stretch. It should be fun in theory, but I still have some questions as far as staying healthy. And did you really have to give up every pick you had left that wasn't traded for Trey Lance for him as well? So I'm curious to see how it plays out, especially when Cam Akers is probably a lot cheaper.
Well, the bright side is that CMC made it to San Francisco, switched teams without even having an injury. So that's a check mark on there. San Francisco.
he was on an injury report for multiple weeks this season. Let's not get it twisted.
He doesn't want you to know that.
Until he got traded, now he's healthy.
He went to the left coast, and all of a sudden he's everything's peachy. So there, you see this in every single sport where players trade different teams, and their identity changes, their mentality changes when they put on a different uniform. From the NBA to the NHL to the NFL. I think this is a good situation for him, but also a person that should really appreciate this right now is Jimmy Garoppolo. Like he actually has now a fail-safe behind him where he can just hand the ball off. If he's healthy, he's one of the top tier running backs, and especially in the very competitive West Division, they're 3-3 right now and still in the mix of things. So they can, with this, if they can stay ahead. That's the thing about San Francisco. 2 years ago, they were the best team in the West, and injuries just demolished them. And last year, they were that wild card team that no one wanted to play, and they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. So this just adds a weapon to San Fran, and for them, it's a homecoming for CMC, but they are legitimately the team to beat out west, in my opinion, because LA has no idea who they are. Seattle's Seattle. They're just laughing at Denver, and I think that's their championship this year. And Arizona, depending on what Kelsey said about Kyler Murray, if there's no good Call of Duty tournament on, they might win that game that weekend. But this is good for San Fran. But for Carolina, you had a division that it was a two-headed monster. Now it's just a single, it's Brady's division. In Carolina, there's just a downward spin. Now there's rumors of them trading Brian Burns. And they got a lot of guys this offseason. Like they were going, oh, this is the year we're going to win the division. Well, we're week 6 and they're already imploding. I'm like, yeah, it's a fire sale in Carolina. Problem is no one wants Baker Mayfield besides Carolina. So it's going to be.
Let's be real. I don't think they really wanted.
Yeah, agree.
I think it was just like, well, okay, he's available, and it's better than a guy who sees ghosts on the field.
Yeah, and they're quality quarterbacks coming into this year's draft. So I think Carolina's just like, you know what, screw it, let's do it. Well, let's put us in a position to get one of these up-and-coming rookies coming out of college. So it's strange. One team wants to win a division. The other one's just conceding, and we're not even in November yet. So we still have more than half the football season left. So it's going to be intriguing. So, yeah.
Here's what's crazy, though, by the way, to Jim's point. He was talking about the NFC South. It is still a two-headed monster, by the way. The Falcons have something to say about that. But win
weird,
two.
isn't it?
If the Panthers win 2 games, they're right back in the thick of things. Like they're 1-5 right now, but if they win 2 games, they're right back in it. It's like,
yeah, because Tampa Bay's not pulling away. The Saints are just hitting themselves, and like they'll go 2 steps forward and fall 2 steps back. And Marcus Mariota, where in the heck has he been? He's like his career is rejuvenated now that he's the guy in Atlanta. So just glad he's doing it in Atlanta and not in Tennessee.
Give him
as long
props
as
to
Kyle
Smith
Pitts-
there.
Just imagine how good Atlanta's could be when they realize they have Kyle Pitts at tight end too and start utilizing him. Then it's over. Then they're going to be
not a blocker,
roll.
not a blocking tight end.
I'm
pounds,
hoping that's the case because I'm one of those folks that has him chilling on my fantasy roster, and I got that touchdown last week. I felt good. I'm like, oh, maybe he sees it. Maybe he sees what we're seeing. It's like the old Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercials. It's because he's good at blocking. No, he could catch touchdown passes.
Catch anything. Just put it in his relative garage door sized vicinity, and it's coming down for more often than not.
Yep.
Just to give you guys, as we kind of wrap the conversation back here with with CMC discussion, here's the whole haul that San Francisco had to give Carolina just to land Christian McCaffrey. And I think this is a big part of the conversation as to, was this trade going to be worth San Francisco's dollar? It's still early. He's not even guaranteed to be playing this weekend because it was that late into the week for him to go over to San Francisco. The Panthers will be receiving from the 49ers. They'll be receiving 2023 picks for the second round, a third round, and a fourth round. They'll also get a fifth rounder in 2024. Now, the third rounder is actually in San Francisco's favor. They had 3 compensatory picks they were going to be getting thanks to losses of different coaching staff to various places. Robert Saleh, I'm looking at you. So they at least had that to spend in terms of next year's draft. However, as you guys have pointed out, no first-round pick. Now, first 2 rounds, they'll be sitting out and just saying, hey, this is what we're rolling with. Maybe we'll get some lucky gem later on, but this is all we pretty much got. This is what you're going to be expecting as the core of the 49ers for at least the next 2 to 3 seasons.
Was it Carolina this whole offseason? If you're going to come after CMC, we want your first. Was that their chatter this whole offseason? And all of a sudden they're like, oh, we can see.
There was a little bit.
There's their chatter this last week too. They're like, the lowest we'll go is a low first rounder. Then eventually, the floor caves in. But you're right.
Technically, they're either going to get 2 lower second rounds if San Francisco wins the division and makes a deep run in the playoffs, or here's their first because you're going to get the 29th pick, so you're still getting a low first. So why concede with the two second rounders? But it is for 23 and 24 season, back-to-back years, second round. So
3 next year, and then only a fifth rounder in 24. So really, they got to get through 2023 for the bulk of their draft of their haul that they had to give away.
So technically, it's not
how great that must be for the next head coach in Carolina. How sad he gets so many second round picks. Especially and then meanwhile, Indianapolis's front office is sitting there salivating at all those second round picks.
Steve Wilkes' redemption season. He's going to get that year 2. I can see it now. Official year 2, not interim year 2. Let's just put that out there. I ain't counting this year. He had to get it from getting someone fired.
It's funny though. It's like, I think it's funny that when all these teams are like, oh, we need a first round, we need a first round, we need a first round. When you get look, most pros are second to fifth round draft picks. Like, why not take multiple extra second through fifth round picks and get more pros that will start on your team? I know you're losing an all world talent, but he's never healthy, so you never get to use the all-world talent. It's like having that crystal ball locked away. You never get a seat. You never get to use it. It's like
something about Kyle Shanahan run teams and star players staying on the field doesn't mesh. I've asked this for years. I don't know what's going on in the Bay Area that creates these situations where at least one all-pro talent is out for a long stretch of the year. But I have to raise flags if it happens every season that at least one doesn't stay on the field healthy. What are you doing in your training program that is causing these swings of we're Super Bowl contenders, now we're a really good middle-of-the-road team that's going to maybe upset you once in a while because we're well-coached?
Especially when they're muscular issues. They're not bones. They're not, ligaments that just snap. No, they're muscular issues, which tells me that stretching plan's wrong. Hydration's wrong. One of those 3 options is wrong. Like, So yeah, I take it.
Is that just a Shanahan tradition, family tradition? Honestly,
Hey, yeah, it dates back to the old Broncos too.
They're either Super Bowl champions or we just missed the playoffs by a game. That was their mindset. So
You gotta have a
Or
down year before you
Bosa's out.
spiral up. They can't go back to back consistently. They gotta go. They gotta fail, then catapult themselves up. So if they fail this year, look out for them next year. Next year they're winning the Super Bowl. If they end up going like 7-10 the rest of the way, then next year they're winning the Super Bowl.
Now see, this is on the
I
status
forgot
quo.
ankle injuries. They need
Yeah,
to. They need to
ankle
go.
injuries.
They need to invest in that Alabama tight wire ankle surgery that every Alabama player gets.
See, again,
That's their problem. They don't have enough Alabama players that have that ankle surgery already.
Too many Big Ten players.
Yeah.
This is status quo though. It's a year removed from just missing the Super Bowl. Now it's going to be this middle of the road thing.
where recovery
Just bank-
rate for ankle injuries is 24 hours. It's like you're done for
24
nope, you're back
hours.
tomorrow.
Throw them back out there.
Tape that bad boy up, ice the heck out of it. You're good to go tomorrow.
Sir,
Walk it off.
Sir,
There's just a surgical wire connecting both of your bones together. No big deal.
Sir, Kyle, my knee's a little creaky. Christian, you aren't a Todd Gurley. Get the hell back out there.
Some
don't
WD
got time
for
for
get
this.
out there.
You're not retired yet. And then Todd from the other side. I didn't say I was retired. Someone said that, which, by the way, that is a funny side piece of news. Everyone's saying Todd Gurley's done. Although, even though he's saying he's not, he's
He technically is.
He's pretty much.
He's on his way to the USFL right now.
Oh, you give me wishful thinking, but also the arthritic knee.
Nobody in the USFL wants him. Let's be honest.
No, I mean, look, Bo Scarborough is fine being the main big name back out there. He's okay with that. He doesn't need no damn Todd Gurley stepping into the ring.
Yeah, that's just funny how he goes. You see, was it Bleacher Report? Oh, Todd Gurley is retiring, and then 2 seconds later, Todd Gurley tweets out fake news. Like, dude, you haven't been playing in 2 years. You're done. Like
He's trying to get those bird years. He's trying to get those extra years so he can get that lifetime health insurance. Is what he's trying to get.
Right. Well, he already got it. I mean, he already got paid off by the Rams, and I know he's got ventures outside of the NFL, so he's doing fine. He's got business. He doesn't need to worry about anything. You know,
was he on the cover of Madden? Gurley?
I don't remember being on Madden.
No, I don't think so.
Because I think if I was going to say, he must be like the fastest player to ever be on Madden than be non-existent in the NFL within.
No, that'd be Peyton Hillis. No one can beat Peyton Hillis being a one and done out of the NFL star. That is still is crazy to this day, and probably why the EA will never do a vote cover title athlete ever again.
Yeah, true. At least the injury jinx is done. So
yeah.
Is it?
Well.
Yeah, they kind of peaked with Antonio Brown, and it's kind of fallen off since then. They went so wacky with Antonio Brown, they weren't able to pass that, so they just stopped with the Madden curse injury.
They're just like, we're just gonna put John Madden on the cover.
the curse already hit him.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Whoa, Jim.
Wait a minute.
Too soon, my guy.
That's yeah, DJ.
We lost DJ.
DJ definitely. I can understand. The curse already hit him. Dude.
We all understood the joke. Nobody had to say it out loud, Jim.
Oh, damn, was it playing the long game? Like,
this is
Jesus.
This is why we don't trust Jacksonville Jaguars fans.
Jesus Christ. On that note, I'm gonna move on. My final
soon.
My final bit with this. My final thing with this whole conversation on the trade deadline, especially with Carolina, who else gets sold? DJ Moore. We've seen Burns comes up as well. You see either one of these guys going? Maybe somebody else that we're not mentioning enough. Who's leaving town still in this fire sale?
I think Brian Burns is all but a guarantee at this point to be gone because he has 1 year left on his deal and it's like a $15 million cap hit. So I think he's gone. I don't think DJ Moore gets traded though, unless someone's willing to give up like a 1 and a 3 or something that they can't say no to, just because they just re-signed him, still young. And when they bring in that new coach and that new quarterback they draft, or if they give it to Matt Corral, you need to keep something around. So I think DJ Moore they keep around unless he goes completely ballistic and throws a temper tantrum to get out, or someone offers him a deal they can't refuse.
Yeah, I mean, that seems the most likely. Don't be surprised if you see somebody like Bradley Bozeman though potentially go somewhere. Same with Pat Elfin. 2 offensive linemen that maybe somebody needs to go get an offensive lineman to play for him. CJ Henderson as well. But yeah, like honestly, most likely is Brian Burns. After that, it's just kind of a crapshoot for do people need pieces, and if so, can you talk Carolina giving you those pieces for cheap? I look at like guys like Matt Ioannidis as well as a potential like somebody needs a playoff push. They need a little extra depth on that defensive line. Hey, let me take you because 7-year pro, like guy doesn't make that much money when it comes down to it. So not going to be a huge cap hit, get you through the playoffs and help your team out. So it could be something like that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Burns because he's already linked to like multiple teams. I think Minnesota's one of them, Kansas City's one of them, and Vegas is one of them. And I'm just saying, if like what Kelsey said, if these playoff teams want to booster their defensive lines, and Carolina wants to do it, they're going to have to do it for cheap because I don't think Carolina's going to give them up for a bag of potato chips. They're not the Jacksonville Jaguars. They don't do that. So, yeah, I think one of these teams that are currently in the playoff push or trying to make that playoff push, they're going to try and get him before the trade deadline. I won't be surprised if he's wearing another jersey come 2 weeks or 3 weeks when the deadline hits.
Well, understandable. I mean, it's going to be – this is what a pure rebuild looks like, shedding cap, getting things stripped to the bone, and basically just having a clean slate for whoever the hell is the head coach come 2023. I mean, that's all this is doing right now. And I mean, I don't think it's personally. I know I was kind of joking, but I don't think it's Steve Wilkes. He probably will not be getting. They'll get an interview. They'll give him his 2 cents for an interview if maybe he gets some wins. But yeah, it's not going to be him. So we end that portion of this quarter number 1 on that note, and we leave you with, of course, our discussion here, our top story to watch. Honestly, I'm just going to continue the trade conversation. That's really what I'm going to do here. We have we have a few trade scenarios that have kind of just popped up outside of the NFL. Really, it seems like the receiver market is going to be bursting at the seams. It seems like, hey, if you're a disgruntled receiver in the NFL, business of you maybe moving on to a better situation might be good. Chase Claypool, Elijah Moore. These are 2 names you definitely want to be watching, and 2 that I think might possibly get a little bit more overvalued. I think Claypool, I'm surprised, has already been linked to having possibly a Christian McCaffrey-esque type of deal linked to him, which to me, yes, he has been a promising young receiver. The amount you're asking for, I don't fully agree with. I digress, though. This is the trade market. Desperate teams and or playoff-bound teams that are looking to make a push and say, I'm going to be the big dog on campus. I'm going to make the biggest swing to get myself to the Super Bowl come February. And I don't think that you're going to be surprised when you see teams like, for example, Kansas City taking swings already. Maybe Buffalo, who was eventually possibly was linked to Christian McCaffrey at one point during this trade cycle. These are teams that I think are stockpiling for an arms race to get to the championship as well. And looking at the NFC, hey, unless you're Philadelphia or Dallas, maybe New York, hell, New York in particular, look at the Jets, look at the Giants. Both those teams might be wanting to stockpile or, as you see with the Jets, retooling themselves to maybe better what their team's best at skill set. Elijah Moore doesn't seem to fit the profile right now, so why not get a little asset value out of it? And they're 4-2, so you got to feel happy about that. Nonetheless, it's trade season. Have fun with it. This is one of the more bizarre parts of the NFL year, sans free agency come the beginning of March, and away we go. Plenty of more fun times ahead before we hit that deadline. And without further ado, I drop quarter number 1 and pass it off to quarter number 2, where we give DJ his time with his betting odds and his best bets. DJ, take it away.
All right, thank you very kindly, Zach. Now we've talked about the headlines. Now we're gonna see if we can make a little bit of money off of some of those headlines as well. We're gonna take a look at a few games. We're all gonna pick some bets that we like from them. Then we're gonna put together a fun little parlay at the end. The last few weeks, the parlays have been a little shaky as well too, but our in-between ones have looked pretty good as well. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our first game. We're looking at the Houston Texans taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. For this one, I'm gonna keep it simple. It's 45.5 for the over/under. I'm going to hit the over with that one. The Raiders offense, as we know, can get loose with anybody. Defensively, it's Max Crosby save us, or we're giving up big plays left and right. And I think Houston can take advantage of that. So I think taking the 45, it feels very, very comfortable considering the Raiders aren't exactly known for stopping people. So Zach, we'll go and start with you. What are we looking at for Raiders versus Texans?
You know what? Honestly, I'm looking at this this matchup with the Las Vegas Raiders and the Texans. I'm actually going to go with one of the first scoring play options here. Don't be surprised. Houston has been scrappy for any of these games, and I think Las Vegas has underplayed their talent so far this season. They seem to play down the level. So I'm going to go with Houston scoring the first touchdown on this one. I'm confident you give an extra week off here with Lovie Smith's crew. Both these teams are coming off a bye, but again, I think with Las Vegas, it's been an underperforming defensive campaign this season. And I also think that Houston, being a scrappy team, being one that has been able to throw punches whenever it comes through 4 quarters, there's a high possibility. Plus 295 on that being their first scoring play. I take that.
All right, I like that one as well too. It's honestly, whoever wins the coin toss, you gotta imagine is gonna get the first touchdown as well too. So next we'll go over to Kelsey. Kelsey, what are we looking at for Raiders Texans?
Yeah, so last week I went a little crazy with all my bets and my player props. I was like 2 touchdowns for everybody. This week I'm toning it down. I'm just giving everybody a touchdown and an anytime touchdown. And this time is Josh Jacobs. So likely, actually, this one's better paired with a larger parlay because it is a minus 161 odds. So literally, if you pay $1, you're gonna get 61 cents back. So tough. It's not made for making a lot of money, but it is made for a parlay succession. So give me Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown.
Very, very safe pick. And Josh Jacobs, low-key, one of the top 5 rushers in the game right now. As well, too, if I'm not mistaken, he's sitting at number 3. He's definitely got going these last couple of weeks. Makes you wonder what they're thinking against Kansas City, not giving him the ball for 2. But we're not diving into that wormhole. Jim, we're going to you next. What are we looking at for Raiders and Texans?
Well, the Raiders, for my opinion, the Raiders have underwhelmed this season so far. And even though the Texans' record is as lopsided as it is 1-4, they actually are a pretty decent team. They're in every single game, and it's because of rookie sensation Dameon Pierce. He's just running over everybody. He is going to be a hot free agent or fantasy football running back next season. He's going to be one of the top guys to get. I think that running game keeps it in. Yes, that the over-unders, I don't want to touch that, but Raiders 7-point favorites at home, I don't like that. The Texans are going to keep it close, but I like the Raiders to win, but the Texans keeping it under 7 points in Vegas. I want to say Oakland. Still, Southwest in the United States Raiders. That's where you played in 4 different cities.
Southwest Raiders.
All right. We got ourselves a tight one down in Sin City. So I'll do it for the Raiders and Houston. Next, we're going to look at Green Bay and Washington. An interesting matchup here with Green Bay a little bit on the snide. So I'm going to go with A.J. Dillon scoring a touchdown at any time at plus 170. The Washington Commanders now, it still feels weird. I'm going to call them the Generals from now on. They for all their talent on the defensive line and in the front 7, they still seem to struggle to stop the run, as weird as it is as well, too. So I think there is room to run on them. Give me A.J. Dillon scoring a touchdown. We'll go right back to you on this one, Jim. What are we looking at for Green Bay and Washington?
I like Aaron Jones get the first touchdown plus 46 for the Green Bay Packers. And no matter who Green Bay plays this week, the Washington Commanders, Washington Redskins, or the Washington Defenders, it's going to be an ugly game. And the Packers are going to win in a close game because the Packers really don't look good. Kind of odd. But when Carson Wentz is your quarterback and he's the worst quarterback in your division, you're not going to win a lot of games, and this is not going to be one of them. I like Aaron Jones get in the first touchdown. Aaron Judge, freaking Yankees. Continue.
And you know we're starting the Taylor Heineke season right now as well too. As Carson Wentz once again find himself on the injury report, as is a custom every 14 minutes as well. So Kelsey, will go to you with this one as well. What are you looking at with Green Bay and Washington?
I'm just going to continue the trend of picking Green Bay guys to score a touchdown, I guess. Robert Tonyan, anytime touchdown here. One of the toughest matchups they have here. Washington does not do good against tight ends, so I like this option here. And one of Aaron Rodgers' only trusted targets, by the way, Robert Tonyan.
It is weird how they struggle against tight ends when you have Cole Holcomb and Jamin Davis at linebacker as well too, and yet tight ends still find a way to cook them. It's weird. How does this end up here? The math does not make sense. But Zach, we're going to go to you with this one. Green Bay, Washington. What are we looking at? Are you going to keep up the trend for touchdowns?
I'm not going to do that, but I will keep up the trend at least for the Green Bay side of things. No Commanders picks that you're going to be talking about with this one. This is my kicking bet. I'm going with the old man himself with the gray salt and pepper beard. Mason Crosby right now put as a plus 133 for over 2.5 extra points. I think, look, you watch the Chicago Bears offense, which was we can talk all day about how bad this offense is built up right now. They were within range of some competency issues of scoring 21 plus on the Commanders last week. Could have been a 28-point affair. Look, Green Bay might not be too much above Chicago, but they're more competent to finish them off in the red zone than Chicago is. Give me that over 2.5 on the extra points, and you'll hit with at least 3 touchdowns. Mason Crosby will land those 3 extra points and get you some money that way. There's my kicking bet. I always have one. I'll stick with that one.
Salt and pepper, Mason Crosby. There's a lot more salt in there than there used to be. A little bit less pepper than we're used to. So next, we're going to look at the Steelers and the Dolphins, the Sunday night throwdown. For this one, I like Jalen Waddle getting the first touchdown scorer as well, too. This one's the bigger one of the bets for me at plus 650. We saw what Gabriel Davis and number 2 receivers can do against Pittsburgh. They're not very deep, especially if Minka Fitzpatrick's banged up. He's probably going to go to the top of Tyreek Hill because if he's not, that's stupid. So that leaves a lot of room for Jalen Waddle to get loose. So give me Jalen Waddle, first touchdown scorer, and with Tua back in the mix as well, too, getting healthy again as well. Healthy, hopefully, quotes unquote. Kelsey, we're going to go to you first for this one. What are you looking at for Steelers and Dolphins?
Yeah, all eyes on Tua, right? And Jalen Waddle and this Alabama duo getting back together, healthy now. Not me. I'm going Najee Harris, the other Alabama guy, on the other side. Anytime touchdown here for Najee Harris, only plus 160 odds. He's the most likely to score for the Steelers at this point in time. And honestly, probably the most likely to get any sort of positive yardage for the Steelers. So give me Najee Harris on this one, scoring an anytime touchdown.
All right, it's basically an Alabama invitational of this game, feels like at this point as well, too. Jim, we'll go to you next. What are you looking at for Steelers-Dolphins?
Steelers-Dolphins, I'm going to go with basically a sure bet, I think. Miami with the offensive touchdown in their first possession at plus 260. I think Tua comes back after being knocked around a couple of times and having 2 weeks off. That offense is going to miss him, and I think they're going to be a little bit more explosive. And Pittsburgh has given up opening drives for points every single drive, start of the game this season, every game. So why the heck not getting easy money? So Miami offensive touchdown, first possession.
Josh Sanders is going to hit it like a 40-yard field goal in the first drive.
All right, I love that one as well, too. Looks like we're feeling pretty good here so far. Zach, I'll let you round this one out. What are we looking at with Steelers and Dolphins?
Well, I'm going to tag team this one with Kelsey and make this more like a parlay. So not only are you going to get that touchdown, you're also going to get an over 2.5 receptions bet for your same game parlay on Najee Harris. Look, I see this one with Tua being back. The Dolphins and the Steelers are going to make this, I think, at least a passing fair. Pittsburgh, I think, is going to be playing catch up, is how I look at it. Najee Harris is, of course, a multi-versatile running back, and they're going to do dump-offs. They're going to do dink and dunks. Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky, they're the game managers, short yardage scenario experts. You're going to get your 3 receptions needed from Najee Harris if I see it, either getting a short, curl route or some of those dump-offs in the flat. Give me that 2.5. At plus 120 odds, by the way, I think that's a pretty solid one you want to pair up with Kelsey's, too.
You might get that in the first drive. Let's be completely honest.
Seriously, to me, Caesar Sportsbook's kind of giving you a layup in my eyes. You might as well put that with the parlay.
I sure hope so as well, because they have not used Najee Harris in the passing game as much as they should early on in the season. So hopefully that means things are coming for a change as well, too. So that'll do it for those 3 games. Next, we're going to look at DJ's best bet, a little parlay that we put together to see if we can win a nice chunk of money. This one we went a little more relaxed throughout. If you notice the history of this is we like to go we get to be outrageous. This week we're going to tone it down. First one we're looking at Atlanta plus 6.5 against Cincinnati. Atlanta's good. Nobody wants to say it, but they're actually really good. And that's despite the fact that they can't actually use their best player for more than 1 touchdown so far. So give them to at least cover the 6.5 against Cincinnati. I don't know if they'll win. I do think Jamar Chase will terrorize AJ Terrell like he did in college a little bit, and Cincinnati will probably get the win, but I do like Atlanta to at least cover the 6.5 points. This one makes no sense to me. What are they, 4-2, 5-1 New York Giants, plus 140 money line against Jacksonville. They're going to run away with that one. You have a lower half team versus one of the top 5 teams record-wise, and you're getting plus odds. Give me New York Giants. Don't have to talk too much about that one. Then this one, we're going to have a little fun with this one. I think Kenneth Walker in the game for the Seahawks is going to be the first touchdown scorer. At plus 490 odds, I do think they're going to do a good job of keeping DK and Tyler Lockett from getting loose. Like they'll get down the field, but they're not necessarily going to get in the end zone. I think that's where we'll see Kenneth Walker start to come alive a little bit as well. So I think we've seen some flashes here and there. And the Chargers aren't exactly known for run defense. So give me Kenneth Walker, the first touchdown score, plus 2,603 odds overall. So bet $1, win yourself a little more than $26 as well. Not quite the outrageous plus 7,600 odds we've had the last few weeks, but feel pretty comfortable with this one, especially that Atlanta covering the 6.5 against the Bengals. It'll be hard pressed to see the Bengals absolutely blow them out the way the Falcons have been playing.
And the way the Bengals have been playing, for that matter.
I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, the way the Bengals are playing too, they're not blowing anybody out these days.
Props to you for bringing up the Falcons because yes, they have been a surprise so far. Arthur Smith has kept this team in games. In fact, they're 3-3 right now and competing for tops in the South. It could be 4-2 right now if we have one bad call that we've discussed on this show change and at least give them a drive. But good props on them. They played tough this season.
All of us except for Jim seem to be okay with the Falcons as a potential NFC South competitor here. But Jim, he still thinks that Tom Brady is the God's gift to the world. So he's still thinking that it's a one-horse race down there. But as he said earlier,
I'm moving this combo to you two. I ain't.
He said the words. He said, "Oh, it's only a one-horse race in the NFC South," as the Bucs are still 3-3, tied with the Falcons at 3-3.
That being said, I'm not putting my money on the Falcons to win the division quite yet. I'm not quite going that far. I don't feel comfortable there yet. But they have made it interesting so far, considering I only predicted them to win 2 games when we did our preseason predictions, so they already surpassed me as well. So that is going to do it for our betting segment. We're going to now head on over to quarter 3 with Jim, and we're going to talk some fantasy football, look at some benches, some starts, and some boom picks. So Jim, go ahead and take it away.
Well, let's get it going on quarter number 3, Jim's BBS for week. What are we, 7 now? Week's 8? I don't care. The season's over for me for the Jaguars. But anyways, you know the rules. I get the 2 quarterbacks or 2 running backs, and the crew decides who starts and who sits, and I'll give you my boom pick of the week at the end of the segment. So let's get it going. In the quarterback scenario, Derek Carr and Joe Burrow. Derek Carr is taking on Houston, who has a very good defense in Atlanta, like we've been seeing over the last couple of segments. It's been pretty impressive with DJ and Kelsey and them. I still don't believe him. But let's start with DJ because he's been high on Las Vegas. Who you start and who you sit, Derek Carr or Joe Burrow?
Yeah, give me Joe Burrow in this one. I think Derek Carr's going to get you some points, but I do think Josh Jacobs is going to get a lot of the work as well, too. I don't think Derek Carr is going to be big for fantasy this week. I think it's going to be good for football. Watching him play is going to be very efficient. It's going to look good. But I think Joe Burrow, he's going to put up fantasy points even on Atlanta's defense. Jamar Chase said he still is A.J. Terrell's nightmare going back basically since they matched up a few years ago in the college football playoff. And I think we saw Jamar Chase starting to get loose. T. Higgins is still there. I think offensively they're finding a little bit of a groove. And Atlanta's pass rush, I don't think it's going to take as advantage of that offensive line as some of the other ones. So give me Joe Burrow in this one, but I think they're both going to put on really good performances.
Kelsey?
I'm going to go with Derek Carr, actually, on this one. Derek Carr is – look, I don't trust Houston's defense outside of Derek Stingley. That's literally it that I trust on that defense. And I think Darren Waller obviously being out for Derek Carr takes a lot of the mental strain of who am I going to throw this ball to away from Derek Carr, whereas he's been struggling. Obviously, we've seen him struggle to get all of his weapons involved every week. So I think this will be a situation where he's like, oh, Devontae, Hunter Renfrow, cool, boom. And, hey, maybe he throws it up to Mac Hollins some more so Mac Hollins can continue to be the number 1 receiver for Las Vegas. I don't know. But I do think Derek Carr has more weapons, more opportunities against a very questionable Houston secondary.
Zach?
I do question the Houston secondary on this, but I also am going to continue the theme of Las Vegas playing down to their opponents. I'm going to take Joe Burrow and company over there in Cincinnati. They've been hitting their stride as of late. And I don't see that stopping now. I think that they had of course, the typical issues with their protection early on. Still has been an issue, but it's less of a problem. They've been able to adjust as of late. And I think there are opportunities against the Falcons that you can score and that this might be a shootout, possibly. I think with Houston, they've been able to keep things at bay for the most part, most of the season. And I don't trust the Raiders right now, simply put it. So I'm going with Joe Burrow.
Let's get into the running backs for this week. Derrick Henry and Dameon Pierce. Derrick Henry, everyone knows he's a beast. Give the man the rock. He's going to lead your team to a win. Pierce, up-and-coming star in the NFL. I'm not going to say superstar, but he's up-and-coming star. Maybe the highlight of the Houston Texans right now. Both teams are playing against two defenses who give up a lot of rushing yards. But do you trust the vet or do you trust the new hot gun? Let's go with Zach. Who do you start and who do you sit?
This is kind of hard for me because I actually am pretty high on Dameon Pierce. And finally, Lovie Smith, after a few weeks of uncertainty, said, screw it, I am going to go with a workhorse back instead of a committee because he was able to take up the carries. However, recent history with the Colts, and this is the only reason I'm going to go with it, is Derrick Henry is a nightmare for Indianapolis. They're at home as well this time. I know that Frank Reich's crew is going to at least prepare for it, but that doesn't mean you're going to stop this setup. I'm actually going to go with a little bit more of the proven back here with Derrick Henry, even though it is a divisional matchup. The Colts have not been in recent years very good whatsoever at stopping Henry for the most part. So I'm going to go with that matchup in particular, where he's going to at least get you a touchdown, and I think maybe not 100 yards, but he'll push that 100-yard mark by the end of the day.
Kelsey?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guy that is averaging 4.8 yards a carry, and that is not Derrick Henry.
That's true.
Derrick Henry averaging less than 3.5 yards per carry, literally until the last 3 weeks, has been struggling all season long to get average going. Dameon Pierce coming off of a 131-yard game and a 99-yard game last week. And by the way, 3 straight weeks with a touchdown. 3 straight games with a touchdown before his bye week. They had a bye week last week, so obviously not last week, the week before. But still, Dameon Pierce coming off that bye week. Now he's rested, giving him some extra carries. I think that Las Vegas defense is not good against the run, whereas they are great against the pass. And that's going to be the big issue there. And Dameon Pierce he's going to continue his season. All of James Robinson a couple years ago for the Jaguars he's going to be top 5, top 10 running back by the end of the season.
DJ?
I want to go with Dameon Pierce as well. While Derrick Henry does seem to get his going against Indy because they struggle with guarding outside runs, and Derrick Henry's an outside zone type of running back, which no one ever wants to mix. He's massive. For some reason, he does his best work in Indy. I don't know if it's the turf or what it is, but when they play in Indy, is when he absolutely gashes them for 183 touchdowns. When they play in Tennessee, it's more of a 28 carries for 101 yards. So give me Dameon Pierce with a little bit more room to explode, where Derrick Henry will get you your consistent 10, 11, 12-ish points. But I think Dameon Pierce has the higher boom factor on top. So give me Dameon Pierce against Vegas.
Wow. Okay. Well, so you're going to go up against Dameon Pierce then, aren't you? Hunter Renfrow looking like never mind. Let's go to
who else is getting the ball on that team? Like someone's got to get the ball.
Agreed. Let's go to the wide receivers, and two guys were very intriguing. You got St. Brown and Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen just came back from an injury. But St. Brown's becoming like the weapon in Detroit. Both are going up against two defenses that are very susceptible to passing game, the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks. Who do you start and who do you sit, DJ?
Man, I want to say Amon-Ra St. Brown because he is awesome as well too. But I think the Chargers miss Keenan Allen so much they're going to get him involved quickly. We saw this our first month of the season, how bad they missed him. It was basically Mike Williams save us or Austin Eckler hopefully gets loose. But they had a lot. I think they're going to get Keenan Allen involved a lot early. And I am concerned about that front line of Dallas getting after Jared Goff as well. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's awesome, and it's probably a reckless pick to go with a guy who has not played this season basically in Keenan Allen. But it's hard for me to not see them just getting him involved with a lot of catches early. I mean, it's the same guy who caught 18 catches in one game at one point in his career. So I think he's going to get a lot of those first down moving plays. So look for even if it's 8 catches for 80 yards or something like that, I think they're going to get him involved a lot.
Kelsey.
Yeah, I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. I've been tooting this horn for quite a while now. I feel like I've talked about him very often. I love Keenan Allen. I love him coming off the injury. I think he's going to be fantastic in his own right. But the difference is Amon-Ra St. Brown is going against a Dallas secondary who I don't trust ever, especially in the red zone where Amon-Ra St. Brown is an absolute technician in the end zone, getting open in those 20-yard spaces. He's not going to be a burner. He's not going to take you over the top, which is Trayvon Diggs' specialty of running with people. He's not a technician when it comes to defending technical receivers. He's ended up going to get 3 penalties on him probably, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to actually dominate that matchup. So yeah, give me Amon-Ra St. Brown in this one. I just think the matchup in this situation is the difference. Not that Keenan Allen doesn't have a favorable matchup. It's just Trayvon Diggs is known to give up these type of points to in these type of matchups. So,
Cass, sorry, I almost said Kelsey again. Zach.
I mean, look, you give me a little bit of a shave. Maybe I can match up with what Kelsey looks Looks a bit. I'm just
It's
saying.
okay.
I see.
You don't want to be
Look,
this ugly. It's all right.
Yeah,
Sure.
hey, now you don't knock yourself down a peg here, my friend. Anyway,
This is where my mom comes into the chat. Hang on. No, I'm just kidding.
good God. My pick is Keenan Allen. Look, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, for crying out loud, I got him on my fantasy rosters on 2 of my leagues, so this is hard for me to decide. My thing is, look, I watched what New England was able to do to this Lions offense this past time around. And I'm not saying you're going to get a shutout twice in 3 weeks for the Lions, but a good enough defensive scheme and seeing what you can do to slow down Detroit has the possibility of allowing this to be, at least unfavorable. Yes, I think Trayvon Diggs can get burned. We know he can get burned. However, I think he's playing at a much better level this year than even previous years as a better corner than just a ball hawk looking for some interceptions. And honestly, the matchup to me for Keenan Allen, it just looks better. Seattle, yeah, they only gave up 9 points to Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals a week prior, but I still see this as a team that has been giving up points in bunches to the likes of, say, New Orleans as well. So I'm going to go with that weak defense in Seattle, usually that is, and I'll take Keenan Allen on a return bid.
So let's get into the flex of the picks. Breece Hall and Chris Godwin both are playing up against defenses that are questionable. One's on the fire sale, the other one's holding on because their quarterback can't make a completion in Denver. Who you got going to start in this one as your flex if you had the chance to, Zach?
Breece Hall. I am high on Breece Hall right now for the New York Jets. He is a bona fide star at this point, or at least he's becoming one. That was almost too bullish, but he is on that warpath right now as a star running back in the NFL. He is the Jets' offense right now for the most part too. This isn't a Zach Wilson show. This is a Breece Hall show. And until we see otherwise, I think you're going to find opportunities. Denver will give you some chances. And one thing about the Broncos, this isn't about air raid offenses. They grind out these games on the ground when you go against the Broncos. Give me Breece Hall all day. Also, something I see with Chris Godwin, and this could change. There's no TD numbers on Chris Godwin this year. Breece Hall, he is that main offense right now for the Jets, who are hot at 4-2. They'll walk away, in my opinion, 5-2 after this week. And Breece Hall gets you a good day.
I think I already know who Kelsey's going to pick. So Kelsey.
Well, okay, so yeah, I'm going to take Breece Hall in this situation as well. But there's an obvious reason. It's what did the Denver Broncos do well? They get after a pass rusher. How do you deter a pass rush? Quick dump offs, running the ball at the pass rush or away from the pass rush. Mm-hmm. That's it. And guess what Breece Hall does well? He catches the ball out of the backfield better than almost any running back that's come out since Najee Harris. I mean, really, like he's probably the best since Najee Harris with his hands, maybe even better in that case. And I think this just everything Breece Hall brings, there's a reason Elijah Moore is not happy in New York. It's because he's not catching enough passes because most of the passes are being dump offs because that offensive line, while patchwork together, is still not perfect. Mm-hmm. So they have to do a lot of quick dump offs with Breece Hall. And by the way, Zach, you thinking a little bullish here. He is a star coming in New York. Like he is. Give him 6 more weeks, and this man is going to be putting up numbers that we have never seen in New York.
And this is probably me just tempting my expectations because I like I said, he is the offense right now. He is that guy that is the driving force as to why, besides, of course, an excellent defensive effort and Robert Saleh executing what he wants on the other side, he is their way of moving the ball downfield right now. Been a great pickup. The Jets are on the right path. Now, if they can get Zach Wilson some throws, maybe we could be even more scared of them. But right now, it's Breece Hall season over in New York City.
Chris Godwin has to deal with sharing targets with Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette. I'm sorry, that just doesn't equal positive there.
And DJ, let's get it going.
Well, as much as I love Breece Hall, and I'm not really going to argue with it, just for the sake of not having repetitive, I'll go with Chris Godwin because Carolina's an absolute travesty. And I think Tom Brady, we talked about last week, everyone kind of remembers we're on to Cincinnati after getting destroyed by the Chiefs. Tom Brady has a little moment of like, we're going to get it together. And I think you get the worst team in the league, arguably, coming off of that. This is going to be the one where he has a vintage 4-touchdown performance against them. Chris Godwin will be beneficiary of that. Breece Hall is incredible. If you have him on your team, you don't bench him, obviously. But I don't think he's going to go ballistic because Denver does still have an outrageously good defense, and they are still about top 12 against the run, despite the fact that they have the worst offense in the last couple of years in the league. their defense has still let them not get blown out. So until Zach Wilson starts completing passes to where a second-year receiver is not demanding a trade, then they have to find a way to beat them through the air too. So give me the Chris Godwin, but at the same time, you don't bet Brees Hall. I just think Chris Godwin's going to finally get in the end zone this week.
For the sake of
Brees
it,
Hall is a
Elijah
flex
Moore
option
booms
for
this
you?
week.
Yeah. If Brees Hall is a flex option for you, by the way, what league are you in, and can I get an invite? Because if you're that deep at running back that he's a flex, like
It's
man.
me. He's my flex. That's how deep I am.
Let me in that league.
Yeah, can I get your running back? Can I borrow your running backs from my leagues? Jeez.
So let's go to the defensive side of the ball, and this is going to hurt me and Zach a little bit. Starting in defense is New York Giants against the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New England Patriots against the Bears. Both offenses, again, Jacksonville doesn't know who they are yet. Are they a passing team? Are they a running team? Or does the quarterback even know how to complete the ball? And the Bears, well, let Zach talk about the Bears and his team. I just know that they've had some interesting games and maybe one of the most not underappreciated, but one of the most horrific Thursday night games we've seen in recent history. But who do you start with these games right now? Let's start with DJ. So we have Zach Muster in this pick right here.
Sweating it out, I see. Okay.
I'm going to take the Giants defense. I do think the Patriots will have some success against the Bears defense or against the Bears offense, but I think Justin Fields will be able to make some things happen. The Bill Belichick defenses do struggle a little bit more against mobile quarterbacks. I think he'll find some room there. And I think when in doubt, they'll just hand the ball off 30 damn times and just find a way to move it that way. They won't let Bill Belichick get too creative with schemes. They'll just run halfback dive to cancel that out. So give me the Giants against the Jaguars because the Giants defense has been really, really good this year.
Kelsey.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. That pass rush for the Giants defense is outstanding with, Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau is finally showing some of that promise as well. So, yeah, give me the Giants defense. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet.
Zach.
That this is actually kind of hard for me because I do see arguments for both sides. Honestly, the one that keeps me thinking maybe Giants is that 30th ranked rush offense when you have Travis Etienne and James Robinson for the Jaguars to lean on. But I'm a pessimistic Bears fan. I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. Look, I just look at Bill Belichick as a guy that's excellent against young quarterbacks. I think he's going to scheme the hell out of this one. And not only will he scheme the hell out of it in terms of making a young QB confused, but unlike Ron Rivera of all people, he's going to spy on Justin Fields. There's not going to be as many times you're going to see rushes downfield. Also, the Bears offense is a complete train wreck right now of historical proportions. I just think you got plenty of opportunities if you're the Patriots to get points, especially if you own this defense on your team. I'm sticking with New England, although I can understand why you picked the Giants too, because great pass rush.
All right, so my boom pick of the week, I'm going to do it. I'm saying Saquon Barkley against my Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville has allowed a lot of rushing game attack. Dameon Pierce ran all over him, and a third-string running back ran all over him last week in in Indy. And now you got a running back in Barkley that is finding themselves. Giants are doing well because they can establish the run game. Jacksonville doesn't know what type of defense they are. One thing about Jacksonville, they either shut you down on the receiving or they're going to shut you down on defense, but they're never together at the same time. They have a hard time containing running backs, especially read option running back, quarterback plays. Pick, get him. If you have him, start him against the Jaguars defense. Saquon Barkley's going to have all day to get some good points there. And again, Giants are going to win. I have no trust in Jacksonville stopping the cold right now this season. Or you can just put that little E on their name now as eliminated from the playoffs. So we're back to normal here in Jacksonville. So let's go to the picks of the week with Kelsey.
All right. So bring it to quarter four, primetime pick'ems, everybody's favorite time of the week, because we get a recap starting with last week where, surprise, surprise, who came out of nowhere for a best week last week? That was me. I don't know how it happened. I'm not going to take too much applause.
Winning
it was
record.
just random. You know what? I'm going to toot my own horn, though. Shout out to the Island pick last week. Zach, continuing his season of just doing enough to stay in the lead by a lot. 8-5, Jim 7-6, DJ pulling up the rear there 6-7. But like I said, Zach continues his season of it's doing enough to stay ahead by 3 or more every week. 52-35-1, DJ 49-38-1. Even with a bad week, you're still only 3 games behind. I climb up to 45-42-1, ahead of that 500 mark before I lose it this week. And then Jim still below that 500 Mendoza line, 41-46-1.
Hey,
But we're going to go with this week's.
I'm now
Go ahead,
5
go ahead.
games. I was down by 9, so I went up 4. So
Yeah, we're working there. We're getting there. But we're going to look at some of these primetime matchups this week. Start with the Chiefs and Niners. Obviously, CMC may or may not play. We're still up for debate on that one. They have not decided yet. Probably not going to play, though, to be completely fair. And we're all going Kansas City. I don't think we really need to talk about this one. I think this is pretty much straightforward, square. Makes sense. I mean, Kansas City is just so dominant this year. Moving on to one of the Sunday night games, the Steelers versus the Dolphins. And surprisingly, I got to be honest, I'm surprised that we are all going Dolphins here. You know what, Jim? Why'd you go Dolphins here?
I don't trust the Steelers. I just don't. Their offense, yes, they got Pickett now starting. They just forget that who their identity is. Pittsburgh. They're not a spread them out, throw them deep. They're hand the ball off, establish the running game, then establish a quick passing attack. They haven't done that all year. I don't care who's the quarterback. They did that back in the day with what's his name? Freaking former Seattle Seahawk. Was it Bates? I think his name is. Back in the 90s. That's their mentality. They are not finding who they are. I don't trust Steelers this season. Don't.
Hey, that's fair. So moving on from that game to the Monday night game, the Bears versus the Patriots. And I can't lie to you. I'm shocked that Zach did not go Bears on this game. Zach, I need you to prove this is another week where you do not go Bears.
Yeah, and what happened last week? I was fine with that because everything manifested the way I expect. Come on, it's Bill Belichick against a young Justin Fields whose line is basically stale bread.
It's a defense who we just saw is 17th against the pass and against the rush.
It's Bill Belichick and it's a young QB. It's a combination from hell.
You're killing me, Zach. All right, well, I'm on an island by myself here, but this is not my island pick. And DJ, I do want to get your opinion here. Patriots, are they that bad, or are they like? What is up with the Patriots? Like, what are we seeing from the Patriots? Why are they so hot and cold this season? Because we saw what they did to the Browns, but then now,
I think they're gonna be the team that beats up on the Browns and the Bears, those ones. But as soon as they play teams that can match them a little bit, that's when they'll be in trouble. So I just think Bill Belichick will find enough. And Mac Jones / Bailey Zappi, they'll move the ball just enough. Offensively, they're going to run the heck out of the ball against the Bears front seven too.
The pure 500. That's what we're talking.
Pure 500. All right, that's what we're going with. That's what we're going with the Patriots. Jim, does that hurt your heart a little bit that your Patriots are just pure 500 team?
No, because knowing Bill Belichick and if Billy Zappi is what he is, we've seen history of late round draft picks in New England be very successful.
It's Bailey Zappi time. That is actually true.
And he gets Cleveland. I'm like, wow, who in the heck is this kid? And knowing the Patriots, how their schedule is in the second half, they can back themselves into the 7th seed. Their schedule gets tough, but
I got all the evidence I need. Jim never watches our show. DJ, he did not hear anything about Bailey Zappi. Otherwise, he would be much higher on Bailey Zappi than he is now.
Careful now, Kelsey looked like he was.
I have been preaching the Bailey Zappi train since midway through last season as a quarterback option. Anyways, I'm digressing. I'm getting out of my way. And we're going to go to my island pick this week. And, well, I'm just going to go with the Colts again. Because Colts-Titans, AFC South, this is for the lead in the division. And you know what? As DJ said, when they play in Tennessee, Derrick Henry is not as threatening as when they play in Indianapolis. So give me the Colts in this one. Everybody else is going Titans. I have no excuses for you guys when you guys lose yet again. I am 4 of 6 this season. I'm going for 5 and 7. Might have to cash these in for a nice little vacation come soon.
You picked the island, and I was like, okay, maybe you should have flipped because seriously, Chicago. This is all lining up to go horribly.
It's gonna go great for me. I don't know what you're talking about, but anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for us this week. Anybody else have any rebuttals on my island before we get out of here?
Yes, I do. I have a rebuttal. The Titans are going to win the AFC South, and they may be 7-10. Whoever wins the South, but they're not losing to the Colts. Tennessee won't do what Jacksonville does.
8 and 9 wins the division. Let's throw a little respect on the AFC South.
All right, we're gonna get it. We're getting out. We're getting out of here. Jim talking blasphemy. DJ won't even. Yeah.
Because me and DJ know the South. Dang it.
Anyways, that does it for us this week, guys. As always, we appreciate it, and we will see you guys